Welcome to the Hank Cisco Show, ladies and gentlemen. Don't touch that remote. I got a top shelf show here today. I got a top shelf guest. Now, you can't get any higher here in Montgomery County. We got a commissioner, chairman and commissioner. Now, he's going to talk about Montgomery County. We're going to talk about Norristown. We're going to talk about you. You're a taxpayer. You're a voter. This is the gentleman, what, if I use that. He is there to make sure that that money that we pay taxes is used right. It's not going in somebody's pocket, okay? So, in this corner, from Montgomery County, weighing 100, but I'll tell you one thing, he's a heavyweight, okay? Welcome to my Hank Cisco Show, Josh Shapiro. Now, the name is Shapiro. Now, on the end of it, it's an O, which means, I thought he was a paisano, Shapiro, but he's half Jewish and half Italian. That's real gasoline and matches, really. But we have something in common. His wife is Italian, so good. So he has spaghetti and the matzo balls and everything else, So welcome. Now, when you were a state legislator, tell me something about yourself.
Well, first off, it's great to be with you, Hank, and it's always good seeing you.
It's a pleasure, I'll tell you.
Thanks for all the work you do in the community. You are right. We have many things in common, but the one important thing we have in common is we both married good, strong Italian American women.
Right.
So we're very proud of that.
Lasagna, pasta vazoo, and everything, right?
The best. I live in Abington. I've got 4 young children.
4?
4 young children. Lori and I are a little crazy, but we're also unbelievably blessed. And I've dedicated myself to public service. I served for 7 years in the State House of Representatives before being given this honor of representing all of Montgomery County as chairman of the Montgomery County Commission, where I've been for about 2 years.
Yeah, well, I would say, and I'm been around quite a bit. I'm 90 years old. I was a policeman in Norristown.
Yes, you were.
27, 28 years. I was a county detective, so I know something about government,
everything,
a little bit, and I've been around. When I was a county detective, I had to go to different cities throughout the country. And let me tell you, some of the juvenile detention centers, some of the different, Montgomery County is one of the best. You have to go to other counties and see what they don't have and what we do have.
Yep.
So I want to, well, I did shake her hand. So that you come in on this job with things were a little shaky.
Yeah.
Now, tell me what the story was. You got in there like a carpenter, or plumber, electrician, the whole thing. You're straightened it out.
A little shaky would be an understatement. We took over a county government that was missing nearly 10% of its revenues. Imagine your budget at home or in your business, and you're spending 10% more than you actually have coming in revenues. We also had a government that had been run by one party for 140 straight years. Now, I'm not saying that's a problem from a partisan perspective, although that could be argued. But it's a problem because we didn't have new ideas. We didn't have an influx of new people and people trying to do things differently. We got into a culture of doing something that way because it had always been done that way. And we set out to change that course and make sure that the tax dollars that people invested in us, their hard-earned money, was spent more wisely. So first thing we did was something called zero-based budgeting, and that's a big fancy way of saying we literally asked everybody to show up with a blank sheet of paper, write down what the core mission of government was, and that's what we funded, nothing more, nothing less. We didn't raise taxes, we didn't cut a lot of programs, we just got back to the basics of governing. We did that, we streamlined a lot of operations in government, we focused on delivering services to the most vulnerable in our community, and we're able to balance our budget. We're able to actually take a system where we were losing money every year from our reserve fund, and now we're growing it.
Nobody was watching the bank.
Yeah, we had a pension fund that county retirees relied upon that hadn't seen a payment.
What causes that? You're a young guy with 4 children, yet you're young. You look like a teenager here. I didn't know whether you were a student or yet. But what causes this? When a guy's in office too long,
Sometimes I think there's like a lethargy that takes over a government or a company when it's been run one way for so long. Obviously, you also had a lot of disagreements among the commissioners before we took over. And the reality is, we tried to set a different tone. The tone I set is everybody's got to work together. We got to collaborate. We've got to come to some
Well, now,
consensus.
there's another thing. You have different departments. Tell me what you do on that. You combine them or put them together?
Most people don't realize that we've got, we got dozens of departments and offices and what have you in county government. We got 3,000 employees, right? We want
3,000?
Yeah, we run everything from a prison to our parks.
Right.
And one of the problems I saw was that the right hand didn't know what the left hand was doing. So we actually streamlined county government. We eliminated 19% of our departments. We forced everybody to communicate. We used different technologies to foster that type of communication. And now our housing department talks to our behavioral health department, talks to our parks department. Everybody communicates more effectively, and the end result is that tax dollars go further and the public interest is better served.
Right. And like the prison now. What's a scoop now? The prison's been laying over there for a while. It's somebody was going to make it a flea market, or a flea museum or something. What's a scoop? Is anything can be done about that or what?
Well, two things. First off, the prison that we have out in Eagleville runs unbelievably well. Our warden's terrific. We actually, just a quick story on that, we found that we had some empty beds there. And we went out to other neighboring counties and said, look, if you've got an overflow population, we're happy to take your prisoners if you pay us a fee. It's a way for us to generate revenue for our taxpayers by doing something smart. In terms of the old prison, which is what you're talking about, which is actually a historically significant prison that was...
That tower up there looks like Gunga Din. Remember the movie Gunga Din? The guy just boom, boom, boom. The guy's shooting up there,
It was built by Napoleon Lebrun, who did the Basilica downtown, and also did the courthouse. Very important historically in Norristown. The facade's beautiful. The inside is falling apart. We are working right now with some environmental companies to determine what type of cleanup and remediation needs to go on in there to get rid of lead paint, asbestos, that kind of stuff, so that we can put it in a position where it can be leased up to be something. A restaurant, housing, whatever the case may be.
I know when I was a policeman in Norristown, and we had to take somebody, I'm telling you, it was a trouble.
Yeah.
Going up the steps when the guy's struggling, you know, and you're holding on, and not many times, but a couple of times, tumbled down them stairs, Yeah. I remember when their killer, Smith, remember he did some murders here and all, and he was the last guy to be electrocuted. Smith, whatever it was, but we had to take him up and down and the steps, and it's dangerous, But now the county facilities you got there, one of the best.
Incredible. Yep.
Right. Now, all right, let's talk about some of the social agency. I'm concerned because my wife has Alzheimer's, and I have agencies that the county now. Tell me that, and I know that some of them need some help, and I know they cut down and all that stuff, but tell me, let's start looking at some of that stuff.
20 years ago, I got into public service, first working as an aide on Capitol Hill in Washington, eventually running for the State House and then for county commissioner.
Well, you have had experience now.
And I got involved because I care about the most vulnerable in our community, and I care about human services and how we deliver it. And one of the things I found when I took office here was, we're spending over $200 million on human services. And they're very inaccessible to people all across Montgomery County, even some people here in Norristown. So we wanted to get the experts who were providing the services and advising about the services out of the office buildings in Norristown, out into the community, partnering better with the outside organizations. And we developed a new core of navigates, individuals who navigate the system for our constituents and advocate for them to make sure that people like your wife who are suffering from Alzheimer's get the service that they need in their home.
Great.
To make sure that young kids with autism
family services,
get
they
the
come in there,
services they
companion.
need. Right.
Great.
And we want to make it even easier for you. Now, we're dealing with cutbacks at the state level, so it makes our job even harder. But you know what? I can't complain about that. What I got to do is focus on delivering the services for the people who need them, and that's what we're focused on doing. This is why I'm in public service, to care for those individuals.
Well, you're doing a job.
I'm very proud.
You're a fighter, Rock. I mean, you're heavyweight, and like a good fighter. A good fighter don't just go out there and swing.
Yeah.
You're not doing that. You're picking your shots.
Yep.
Beam, left, boom, boom,
Yep.
hands up. See,
Yep.
you just can't, you never slug with a bum. If you're a fighter, you're going to swing, you both get knocked out. You will win. You
That's
pick
right.
your shots, and that's what I like. You're doing what you think. You see something, and your ears are open for anything. You know,
Yeah.
like I would say. Now I'm concerned about Norristown, the county seat.
Us too.
And I'm sometimes I live here. You know, I've raised my family and everything, but I like to see something a little bit better than what we have right now. And I'm not blaming the county, I'm not blaming the officials, but something. All these other towns, Conshohocken, Media, Doylestown, everything is doing. So I don't know. Is Norristown doing something? Now, one of the nicest things moving along is the theaters. I think the theater and restaurants are like ham and eggs together.
Yep, yep.
And if one can help the other, and that's what we can make Norristown. We have transportation. We got a jewel. We're a jewel between Gettysburg and Philadelphia, right here, Norristown. It should be really. We got with Manayunk has maybe a half a mile or so of waterfront. We have almost the whole town.
Well, let me tell you. I'll make 3 points. Number one, because I think the situation is different in Norristown, and there's great promise. Number one, we care, and I think it's important that you got to have people.
Out, right.
Yeah, you got to have people that care, and we do. Two, we've got 2 major infrastructure initiatives that are going on. 3 that are going on right now that are going to have a dramatic impact on Norristown. Number one, we sold the Human Services building and then leased back space.
Yes.
In doing so, we put that back on the tax rolls, so there's money now coming here to the Norristown Area School District that used to not come, and money coming to the municipality of Norristown that used to not come. So that's number one. Number two, we've embarked on a $100 million road project along Lafayette Street.
Oh,
We're
yeah,
extending
that's the extension from,
extending that from the Norristown Transportation Center all the way up to the Turnpike, and hopefully having a slip ramp that puts you on the Turnpike. If you can get off the Turnpike and be in Norristown in a minute, that will be a game changer for Norristown. Number 3, we're going to dramatically overhaul 1 Montgomery Plaza, which is going to both help not only our county government and our employees, but do some retail and stuff on the bottom that's going to help in Norristown. And then the third issue that we're focused on is investing in the things that are working here in Norristown. More affordable housing and mixed-use housing, more investment in the arts and culture, as you're seeing with some of the theaters along the way. It's important that we invest in the things that are working and that are creating destinations for people to come to Norristown and live in Norristown. It is a goal of ours to improve upon our county seat, and it's one that we take seriously.
Developers, investors, anybody got a little bit? Do you hear what he's saying? Come to Norristown. Look it over. Get some green folding stuff. Get that fish hooks out of your pockets and invest in Norristown. The theater, the restaurants, and everything. We're going to have transportation. We got everything here. The only thing we need is just a little bit. You know what we are. Norristown is a hug without a squeeze, and you're the kind of guy that can make that squeeze.
I like to squeeze.
I really, no, I'm not kidding now. I'm telling the truth. Okay? Hey, all right, now, it's very controversial. Now, a little thing about this park house thing. I've been up there. My friend, Dean Garofalo, he's an impersonator for Elvis Presley. He gets up there and sings. You ever hear him?
Yeah, I've seen Dean, sure.
Good friend of mine, And I've been up there when I was with the county detectives.
Yep.
And gave little talks and all. But tell me what the story is. It's about selling property.
Yeah.
People, not everybody reads a paper, not everybody has computers.
Yeah.
But my show is Comcast and Verizon, and it covers a good part of Montgomery County.
I'm glad you asked about this, and give me just a couple minutes here to kind of walk through the process. First off, the county owns and operates Park House, which is a nursing home. 10 years ago, there were nearly 50 county-owned and run nursing homes across Pennsylvania. 67 counties, about 50 nursing homes. Today, there's less than 20. Why? Because counties are experiencing the same thing that we are in Montgomery County. We're bleeding money there, and it's very, very hard for the taxpayers to continue to subsidize it. Now, what works at Park House? We have incredible staff who do an amazing job each and every day, and we have residents that are getting 5-star quality care, and 5 stars is the most that you can get. So we embarked 13 months ago on a process to find out, okay, is there a better way to own, operate, or manage the Park House? We did 2 different procurement processes, made it completely open and transparent to the public, and we ultimately decided that we were going to sell Park House, but selling it only with the stipulation that our staff was able to remain, the residents were able to remain.
That's fearing everybody. When
Right. That the residents were able to remain, and only to a company that operated at a 5-star level.
5-star.
Right. We have received only compliments from staff, residents, their families. They think it makes sense. And by the way, from a taxpayer perspective, you're going to ease the burden on the taxpayers who are subsidizing this to the tune of millions each year. Now, you mentioned the word controversy. I think it's really important to talk about this. Surrounding the house is some undeveloped land. And in fact, on that undeveloped land, people walk, they ride horses, this and that. We want that to remain undeveloped. The people we're selling it to want it to remain undeveloped. The final documents, when we sign them very, very shortly, is going to show that it will remain undeveloped. So there have been a very small handful of people that have made noise saying, oh, they're going to build a Walmart or build a... That's not happening. And in fact, it is in the best interests of those buying it, and it will be backed up in writing to keep that land undeveloped. So I'm really excited about the future of Park House. I know the residents are, the staff are, and no one in the community has anything to worry about
what's
that
the
type
biggest,
of development.
You went over it, you walked through it, but what's the biggest fear that these people have that are campaigning and protesting? Now, let me tell you, this is a boxing ring here, and if you think that he's not telling the truth or he's not telling the whole thing, you want to come on here and talk about it? Come on, baby, right here.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't get in the minds of this small handful of people who are making noise. I can tell you that initially they said they were against selling Park House, and then when the residents and the staff said, wait, we want it to be sold, then they backed off of that and they said, well, now we don't want the land developed. So we gave it in writing saying land's not going to be developed. Yeah. I don't know what their issue is, other than they're probably trying to make some political hay. And to be honest with you, I've got too much important work to do to worry about their nonsense.
In other words, giddy up, welcome back. Giddy up, welcome back. Yeah, yes, no, so, right. Well, all right. You know what they say in boxing, made a better participant emerge in triumph.
Yeah. It's not something I worry about. And from a taxpayer perspective, a resident perspective, and a staff perspective, it's a great deal for Montgomery County.
Right. Now, what's some of the challenges that I always said, get yourself a young doctor and an old lawyer. You got it made. See, so you look young, but you're a seasoned, up-to-date politician. Mm-hmm. Okay, and I would say that. And what are some of the challenges for you? You're a married man. You've been successful in life. Your health is good. God's been good to you. Okay?
God has been good to me.
So, what are some of the challenges today?
Hank, I am unbelievably blessed, and our faith plays an important role in our lives, my wife's life, our children's lives. The first thing you always hope for is just good health, and you pray for that. And then what I really try to work on, and probably the biggest challenge for me, is maintaining that work-life balance. There's always another meeting to go to. There's always another political event to stop by. There's always another issue that you can deal with. There's always another constituent you can respond to in an email or whatever. But you know what? My kids need their daddy too.
How old
my
are
wife
your
needs her husband. 12, 8, 5, and 3. So
wow.
I got my hands full, and Lori's got her hands full. But
oh my God, it's almost like Channel 10, Channel 3, Channel 6.
If you can maintain that balance.
What do you think they're going to be interested in? Well, the oldest one, we'll say. What's his?
It's interesting. My daughter's really interested in government and politics.
She is?
Yeah, it's really amazing.
How old is she?
She's 12, and she is.
Well, what do you mean? What did she do?
She's just a natural leader. In her last year, they had a mock debate, between Romney and Obama. She chose to be Romney, even though she had met Obama a bunch of times, supports Obama. And I asked her why she did that. She wanted the opportunity to, kind of argue the other side, right?
Yeah.
And she's just incredibly smart,
well,
far brighter than my wife and I. So we did real well there. My 8-year-old keeps asking me if he can go be a gold miner because he loves the show Gold Rush. My 5-year-old wants to be a race car driver, and my 3-year-old, we're just trying to get him out of diapers right now. So, but it's.
Wait, what's your wife's name?
Awesome.
First name?
Lori.
Lori.
Lori. Her name.
Yeah, the lady comes to my house with it's called Crossroads. It's stationed in Plymouth.
Yep.
Her name is Lori, and does a real good job. One of the
Lori,
ladies.
Lori Ferrara was my
Ferrara?
my high school sweetheart. I met her in the 9th grade.
What school?
We started dating, Akiba Academy. We started dating, and then next thing you know, we were married a few years later. So.
Oh my God! So, well, let me tell you, you are an example to follow. Okay,
Thanks.
I have a lot of guests here and all, but some are not. Well, most of them were successful, but some are still climbing. But you're there, you're on top, and you're doing your job. See, some guys are always looking for this, looking for that, and you have all the qualifications someday to become a governor. Okay,
Thank you.
I
Thanks,
would
Ron.
say, okay. So when you're ready to run, you let me know. Okay.
I need the ambassador
just
on my
keep
team.
punching, keep punching. You know, feint, move. See, there's a lot of things. In politics, in fight. I'd say fighting, boxing is almost the same as politics. You just don't win it.
Right.
You gotta.
You're exactly right.
You do feint, boom, punch, duck, move, block, left, right, uppercut, left.
Right.
All variety. Just don't do one thing.
You're exactly right.
Remember, all sunshine makes deserts. You're going right now. You're having a lot of thunder and lightning, but when the truth comes out, you'll have a beautiful garden. We'll have a situation up there.
You know what?
Roarsford? What is it? Roarsford?
My life feels sunny every day.
Well, that's all right.
I'm
Well,
proud of the work we're doing.
All right, now, Montgomery County. Tell me some of the interesting departments that help the people in Montgomery County.
Yeah, it's interesting. Just yesterday, I was on the phone with an individual who was dealing with getting their veterans benefits. We work really hard each day to help our veterans in Montgomery County. We work hard each day to plan 5 minutes from now and 5 years from now through our planning department. Obviously, I talked about our prison before. We've got folks in our Office of Children and Youth and our Aging and Adult Services that deal with people at each end of their life. There are so many different ways in which our county government reaches people and touches people each and every day. Not to mention, of course, our criminal justice system, our district attorney, our courts, our public defender.
Great.
These are people who work each and every day tirelessly to help the community. What I'm really proud of is that, we've got an environment in our county government right now where people work together and collaborate. And just the other day, I was able to bring together the president judge of our court, Bill Ferber, the district attorney.
When I used to referee fights down in Philadelphia, Judge Moss, Cirillo, him, they all come to the fights, ringside seats.
They're great. Great guy. Of course, District Attorney Furman is a dear friend, and our public defender, Keir Bradford Gray. We got top shelf people there.
Now,
we
let me
work
ask you
together
this.
to get it done.
While we're talking about that, you are a Democrat.
I am.
Now, the way the law says, you have to be 2 of one and 1 of the other.
Yep.
Okay, so you got 1 Republican, you got 2. Even though you are the top guy, you have to make decisions. How are you getting along with the other 2?
We get along great. This is the
You got
first.
Castor, he's a Republican. Richard, Democrat.
Yeah.
Okay, how do you get along?
So this is the first time in 140 plus years in Montgomery County where you've had 2 Democrats and 1 Republican.
Yeah,
Never happened before. And the tone I tried to set from day one is that we're all going to treat each other with respect. We may not agree on everything, but we're going to arrive at consensus wherever we can. And I strive very hard to find consensus. I'm proud to tell you, Hank, after 26 months in office, we have not had a single negative vote on our board. That's not because Bruce and I agree on everything or Leslie and I agree on anything,
Hey.
but you got to work together. And one of the things that I think we're failing at in Washington and in some cases in Harrisburg is the right hand doesn't talk to the left hand. The left doesn't talk to the right. People don't collaborate. You get elected to these positions of trust, you have to work with one another to solve problems. Right. That's what we're doing in Montgomery County.
Right, and if 3 people think the same, talk the same, 2 are unnecessary.
Yeah.
You don't need the other 2.
Yeah.
Get rid of them.
Yeah.
So that's why you have the other opinions.
Right.
That's
Absolutely.
great. And you talk about Park House. When I was just came on, left Norristown Police Department, somebody says run for sheriff. So I got the guy, the head of the Republican Party, said, okay, yeah, I'll put it on there. And finally, I put a petition out. I started signing the petitions on. And finally, Parkhouse calls me in the office. And he liked me.
You're talking about former Commissioner Parkhouse.
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
nice man, very conservative, man. He had a lot of class, He says, Sergeant Cisco, he says, let me tell you, he says, you're a young guy, you have a nice future. He says, now, one of the judges, a real good friend of mine, is running. Now, if you run against the party, you know, you're going against the party. If you run independent, because the party endorsed Hilly, you know, and Hilly used to work with me. I was a sergeant, but they endorsed him. So he says, Len, young fellow, let me give you some advice. In politics, wait, time will come along. People leave, people die, people get involved, corruption. He says, you wait, your time will come. So I never ran for office anymore, but what I do is just help work along and volunteer, helping people.
You do a lot more than
But I listen. You listen to someone with wisdom, and I think he had a lot of wisdom, you know. But then it was controlled. Then, I mean.
Yeah, it wasn't a particularly competitive political environment. The Republicans decided who the people would be, and they won. It's a much more competitive process now, which, frankly, I think yields better government at the end of the day.
Yeah, but well, you know, our time is running out. Wrap it up with something you think that people in Montgomery County want to know.
You know, I just want the people of Montgomery County to know that their government is now on a strong foundation. I mean, for so long, it was on a shaky foundation. For so long, people, I think, questioned the integrity of our government. Can't question that anymore, and you can't question the financial stability of our government. That now gives us a good foundation upon which to grow, to deliver more services to the people who need it, to invest in job creation and economic growth, to do more investment of infrastructure like the Lafayette Street project here in Norristown. There's so much more we want to do, and now that we've cleaned up the mess that we inherited, we're in a good position to be able to do that. I couldn't be more proud of the work of my colleagues, Commissioner Richards, Commissioner Castor, our senior staff who have done an amazing job. We are ready to rock and roll now for the second half of our term, and I'm unbelievably proud to be in this position.
I would say we're in good shape. So I just want to thank you for coming over here. And don't forget, got to come to Manjuni.
I'll be there. I've been there before, and I'll come back.
I know.
I'll come back.
So, ladies and gentlemen, thanks a lot for allowing us to come into your home. And this has been a pleasure for me. That I've watched him since the time he was a legislator. Then he became county commissioner here, and he really is doing a job. And I'm looking forward. I would say someday, things work out, we could have a governor from Montgomery County. So, grazie. And then we say here in Italiano,
thank you.
Alla salute, to your health. Here we go.
Thank you.
One of you, okay? For my Hispanic friends, adios, amigos. We're going to take care of them too, right?
Good job. Good.